What's going on, good people? We are so glad that you are here with us today. Name presents Flight School. We're calling names, we're checking off attendance. So glad to have you here today. And I am your personal marketing and branding specialist. I go by the name Nathan Driz Johnson. All right, so in today's series, actually, we're starting off a whole new series. So I'm geeked about this. And what I love about this series is the fact that I get to really help artists count the costs, right? Because our main thing as artists, or one of our main things as artists, is we want to do this full time. I sit down with a lot of artists. I sit down with a lot of artists, and I say, "What's the vision? What do you envision yourself doing?" And I want to say 99% of them sit there and say, "Hey, I see myself doing this full time." So if we're going to do this full time, that's a great vision. That's a great dream. Um, I think somebody said the difference between a dream and a vision is that a vision has practical steps to bring it to life. Without that, it's just a dream, right? A lot of us we're dreaming to be, what I'm saying, the next Drake, the baby, Migos, whatever you wanna, offset. Where we're dreaming to have that record contract, you know what I'm saying, but we're not putting in steps to be that next artist. Um, and so I wanted to put together practical steps in order for us to do that, to go to it, because the series we are here today to check out, it's called Reality Checks. So I'm writing a whole bunch of reality checks with you guys. And today's title of today's series, I'm going to run it back a little bit, right? So the title of the series is 9 to 5 to Full-Time Artist Reality Check Series. And today's title of all things is Watch This Before you make a move. Before you quit your job. Before you quit your job, watch this. That's today's title, right? Because I want you guys to win. I want you to win. Um, Short story with me. When I was signed to a label, I had this amazing friend that worked there. Well, actually, all of them was cool. You know what I'm saying? The whole crew was cool. Shawnee, Jeff, Norvell, Lavelle. Shouts out to that. Out to all of them. Dana, the whole crew. Shouts out to you guys. They were all cool. You know what I'm saying? And Lavelle was my homie. Lavelle worked there. He did, he ran a music store before he got on the squad, right? Before he got working at the record label. And what I loved about Lavelle is he was very selfless, and he was very behind my project and me as an artist, and he was always that go-to guy, and he wanted to see me win. You know what I'm saying? And he did everything he could to see me become that better artist and to get my music overseas. You know what I'm saying? And to have success with it. And that's what I want to be for you guys. I want to be you guys as Lavelle. You know what I'm saying? I want to be that guy in your corner, cheering you on, but also helping you navigate some of these roadblocks, because I think the thing about wisdom is that, and versus like experience it. I'm able to maneuver you guys in such a way that you get to where you need to be quicker and faster. I was talking with another artist and he had all the tools. You know what I'm saying? He was a hip hop artist. He had a great tracks, flow, skills, freestyle, like everything that makes a good MC. He had it. You know what I'm saying? And he was young. I'm like, bro, you got it. You know what I'm saying? You got it. You know what I'm saying? As an MC, you can take this world by force. The only thing I could tell this brother is the only thing that I saw that would be his downfall. I said, brother, you got a time limit on you. And I could tell, because I said, not because of anything about your project or your skill level. I said, life will get to you. And if you don't reach a level of success before life reaches you, if you don't get there in time, life will pull you down because life be lifing. And we all know life be lifing. And life will pull you down. It's that's what it does. You know what I'm saying? Whether that is bills, whether that you got married, whether that you got a kid, no matter what it is, your parents died. You know what I'm saying? You had to take on two more jobs. No matter what that is, what it looks like you got to get success today because tomorrow is not promised. And I told that brother, it's a timing on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, if you listen to what I tell you to do and I can get you this wisdom, I can get you to where you need to be in a year versus 10. Because you're going to get there. The difference is the timing. Do you want to get there in 10 years or do you want to get there next year? So that's what I'm asking you guys today. And I need you to answer this question. You know what I'm saying? You can leave it in the comments below. Do you want success 10 years from now? Or do you want success today or next year? Right? Because that ball is in your court. All right, let's get to it. All right, so this is basically almost like a money series. Because if we're going to go from a 9 to 5 and be a full-time artist, we have to know what's available to us. I'm going to give you guys some practical stuff, some stuff that, you might have heard of, and other stuff you never even heard of. You know what I'm saying? You never even thought to connect it, because that's how we do here at New Altitude Media. We are going to extremely think outside the box to get you guys in spaces that, you might not have known. All right, so we got to look at the basic stuff. I'll never forget an artist. We were ready to launch this artist's campaign. He's got everything, there to be impactful. And I was like, did you, your lyrics copywritten? He was like, no. I was like, bro, we've been working at this 6 months. You ain't got the basics? That's basic. So make sure you guys copyright your lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Because, in the beginning, when you think about how do you make money, is off the basic stuff, right? Let's before we go thinking out the box, let's handle the first grade first before we start thinking college level. First grade is royalties. You know what I'm saying? In order to have that, you must have those lyrics copywritten. Because once again, that's your easiest form. Don't leave money on the table. Copyright your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Copyright your stuff. Make sure your stuff is published, you know what I'm saying, and then distribution. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's through CD Baby or DistroKid, you can look at either one of them. I remember when I had a business partner, he liked more DistroKid. I like more CD Baby. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to release. That'll get you out there as quick as possible. That is up on you. But do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't not do it. Don't not use these platforms because you want your music out. You want them everywhere you can get to. Why is that important? Because when you start making impact, when you start bringing awareness to your music and your songs, people are going to go to what they like the best. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's Spotify. Maybe that's Apple Music. You know what I'm saying? But wherever they go to, or a whole host of others, you know what I'm saying? But they want to go where they feel comfortable. You are already a good chance that you are a new artist. So you may not, you know what I'm saying? So you have that. You know what I'm saying? Because people are going to go to what is familiar to them. And so they're more familiar with Apple Music, or they more familiar with Spotify. They're going to go to what they like. Okay. So make sure you are classic. You know what I'm saying? And forgive me if you like, I've heard this already. You know what I'm saying? I'm for those who haven't. You know what I'm saying? Do that. And we're thinking about ways that we're making money and having impact. So it's like, don't quit your day job if your music ain't copywritten. You don't want to lose any money. You want multiple streams, and that's a good stream of it all. We all say shows. You know what I'm saying? Great. Make sure that you're prepared for a show. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you know what it takes to put on a show. Make sure you've been practicing, you know what I'm saying, on what you are using, whether you are a band, you know what I'm saying, and you know that show mentality, or whether you're a hip hop artist, or whether you're a singer. Understand the show mentality. Practice. You know what I'm saying? I always say, like, get in that studio and churn out 5 songs. If you're even just dropping one, churn out five to 10, so that you can kind of like understand your sound. You can understand what you want to try to do with it and have a show mentality. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, it only takes one song to blow. I get that. And if you do it right, you know what I'm saying, you go all over the globe, you know, but nobody wants to be a one-time hit. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants just to be that afterthought of just all you had was one good song. You want a catalog. You know what I'm saying? And artists get paid off their catalog. So that's why a lot of artists moves into different genres, you know what I'm saying, type of music, because it's like your music can go in so many different directions, and it's powerful, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and you want to know what hits for you, you know what I'm saying? So get in that studio, you know what I'm saying, find the right sound, the right song, you know, and put multiple songs together so that you can have a show. And we'll get into why that's really, really, really important. But you want to go into show mentality. You want to look into merch, you know, look into merch, because of like so many time I feel like artists pay, and these are things that I'm saying, yo, you want to look into these things, you know what I'm saying, as stuff that you want to have the basics on. And in a minute I'm going to talk about a budget, you know what I'm saying, but because you need to have this in the budget, you know, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Merch stuff, you know, not, you don't even have to have a whole wardrobe, you know what I'm saying, you don't even have to have a whole wardrobe. You just have the basic, have a shirt idea, you know what I'm saying, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more later on, because things, you want to get your music into movie soundtracks, you want to get into commercial, you know what I'm saying, and some of us want to get signed. I get that too. Understand though that when you do that, what comes with that. I was talking with an artist and he was like, point blank, bro, I just want to get signed. I'm like, all right, cool. But if you're going to get signed, you're still going to have to invest. So you're still going to have the basic things with it all, right? You got to have your, like I said, copywritten. So it's like ASCAP, BMI, who you rocking with? You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're on Songtrust, because in Songtrust is going to look if your song gets picked up by anywhere. Songtrust goes out there and makes sure that you get the money for those records as well too. So it's like, let's get the base. We can't even excel unless we have the basis together, people. So let's get the basis together. All right, let's go to the next thing. Like, I put myself, when I was preparing for this, I put myself in you guys' shoes, as I always do. I was an artist. I put out music in 2013. Like I was saying before, I was an artist. I put out music in 2013. This is now 2026. And when I went through this, I was like, how would I have done it? You know what I'm saying? Like with the label, with the sound, with the songs, with the music. How would I have put out a record in 2026? Right? And the first thing I think I would have did was saying I'm going to have to pay for stuff. I get it. We all like free. Free 99 is what we all love. I get that. I truly do. But you have to look at it as an investment, right? A lot of, even I said sign. Well, being signed, people are going to want to look at how much you put in yourself. I remember our CEO of Sound Thought Recordings, her name was Shani. And I remember her saying that she liked one particular artist because of how much they invested in themselves, right? And so I think we underestimate that, you know what I'm saying, with labels and stuff like that, because they want to see how much you have invested in yourself first. Because if you invest in yourself, they know that, hey, you might be worth the investment, because look at how much money you put up versus asking them to put up money. Because lots of times when we want to get signed, we want them to put up money, invest in us, but we haven't. How much money did you put in you? You know, and that'll tell us all the way. Do you believe in you? Because you only invest and put in money in stuff that you believe in. So you have to invest in yourself. If you believe, if you don't believe in your project, that's fine. That's fine. But how much do you believe? How much are you willing to invest? Not in the other people, but in yourself, right? So you got to answer that question before you step into the scene. And we already talked about the marketing and value. Like we spoke a lot on why your music failed and the basics and stuff. So go on to, I got a whole other series before this one. If you just now coming in contact with me now about how the basics you need to get into. Once you understand the marketing, the branding, the advertisement, this is the next thing. Budget, right? What you need to be paying for, what you don't need to be paying for out the gate, right? Once again, you have to see this as an investment. You know what I'm saying? So where you else you get your money, whether that's, refund checks, 9 to 5, spouse, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you already making some money through your music. You know what I'm saying? You have to get yourself a budget of like how much I can spend on music in order to grow it, right? And I think like it's not so much how much, but what are you willing to spend? And the specific stuff you need to spend. Like, of course, we all know like studio time. You know what I'm saying? A good studio is golden. You know what I'm saying? But a good engineer who knows what he's doing with a Mac is golden as well too. So yeah, pay for studio time, um, as much as you can to, like I said, to do that 1 to 4 songs and stuff like that. So pay for that studio stuff. Um, Pay for the mixing. A lot of artists they want to skip out on stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I ain't got the money. I understand that. But I'm like, bro, go get the bread or save the money for the bread. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is an investment on your product because you have to look at this as like, I'm going to get all this back. And that's what I'm trying to help you guys do with this series, Reality Checks, is that if you invest 10 grand, I'm wanting you to get it back. And that's what we're talking. That's why we're here. Or I want you to get double because you know how to steward and sell your product, right? Studio, mix, photos. Some of these, so many artists that I see today, they drop, you know what I'm saying, their song, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, but bro, where your photos at? We've already said that your brand itself, what is the brand? Brand encompass a bunch of different things, but one it shows is that your brand is the cover to the book of you, right? So how you see yourself is really strong. You know what I'm saying? But how other people see you will affect your sales. It affects your money. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was always like brand protection. If you are using social media, your Facebook page, your Instagram, or anything like that, make sure every social media page has you do a photo shoot, make sure you're crispy, make sure you're looking good. You know what I'm saying? And those photos are on every one of your social medias. And that if I did an audit on your page, can I find you on social media in your sweats with a stain, chili stain on there with your hair not doing, looking good, you know what I'm saying, with, broken glasses or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, will I be seeing that? Will I see you looking, you know what I'm saying, tired or not like a star? Everything on your page should make you look like a star. I shouldn't be able to audit your page. You know what I'm saying? And a good way of starting, like, okay, is do a photo shoot. Then look at those photos and compare it to everything you have on your social medias and all of them. TikTok, Snapchat, I don't care what it is. You know what I'm saying? All of them need to have your priceless, really good looking photos. Has to, because that's how the world sees you. You want to have a consistency across your social media. You know what I'm saying? Photos, logos, you know what I'm saying? All of that. It needs to point to you so that every time I see this person, they're in a suit. So then it looks like business. It looks like money. You know what I'm saying? And now they're selling a product. You know what I'm saying? Photo shoot. Super important, right? So because you had your studio, you got your mixes, now you have your song, now you have your photos that help shape perception. You have the power to create the narrative, right? And that comes with photos. You know what I'm saying? That spend money on a logo. Now, there's a lot of websites now, Adobe, Canva. There's a lot of different websites that will that you can use DIY, and you can do all this yourself if you want to. But I feel like at some point you need to look into professionals for everything I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Because like we're great at music, right? We are music makers. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? We can't do everything good. And we can't do everything well, you know? It's just the reality of it, you know? So at some point you want to get with some people who has an eye for mixing. You have a good studio engineer, photos, logo. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to get a good logo. And then you could go to Fiverr. You know what I'm saying? Have somebody make you a really good logo on there. Why? Because that helps with how people see you. You know what I'm saying? Every business has a logo. You know what I'm saying? It just does, you know. And you are a business. So you want a good logo, you want a good photos because you can use that for perception, but also you can use that for a good merch. I just told you like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Get you a shirt, you know what I'm saying? Put your logo on it. You know what I'm saying? Get you like 10 of them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's usable stuff that you can invest, you know what I'm saying, later on with it all. Um, do a music video. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a ton of ways to do music videos now. You know what I'm saying? You can do a traditional music video. You know what I'm saying? Finding somebody and pay a couple dollars to them. You know what I'm saying? And do a really cool video. But nowadays you can shoot a video on your phone. You know what I'm saying? Edit that bad boy really strong. You know, you can do. There's so many ways to like really do it. You could do a lyric video, right? There's so many ways. I did a lot of these things for my customers, for my clients. When we were creating their rollout and how they are posting on social media, I was like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, if you don't have this, have this. You know what I'm saying? But it really would go well, you know what I'm saying, with your music. Even a still shot video, you know what I'm saying? That is just the album cover or the single cover and the music playing in the background. Even that does well on your YouTube because it gets attention. And if you put it up, you know what I'm saying, on your YouTube, just a still shot, just a logo or like, and then you got two of them. You got one logo and you got the song behind it, and then you got the song cover and you got the song behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you have a photo with the song behind. You got three still video. Like, you're not even at that point. What's that costing you? $50, 25, maybe lower than that. You know, to just put that up. You know, because YouTube likes that. You know, because it's like some of us we think we have to go like, you know, to the extreme of it. It's like, yeah, if you can afford those you know really nice music videos, do that absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But do the basics as well too, because these are things posted on YouTube. They do well. I don't think any national artist out there has does not have like a still shot video. You can name an artist, you can look at the YouTube, you know what I'm saying, pages. They will have the song, you know, they will have the song cover, and then you can click it and hear the video playing it. It's very simple to do. You know what I'm saying? If you need some help, let me know. I can always send something to you that can help you do that for yourself. But you have to have a strong logo. You have to have a strong song cover, album cover, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Invest in those things because that's the little bit. And I'll say this and then get off that point. The reason why these types of videos do well on YouTube is because lots of people will play the song and then go do other stuff. You know what I'm saying? They won't even chill. They'll just play it like they're playing Spotify. You know what I'm saying? They don't always have to have something to look at. You know what I'm saying? They can just listen to it. You know what I'm saying? But they need something to keep their eyes focused. Okay, you have the logo, you have the song cover. You know what I'm saying? You don't always, like I said, have to have these tremendous stuff. And we're not even doing the simple stuff right. You know, that's really simple. All right, let me get off that point. Um, okay. It will take some money for you to copyright your lyrics, but once again, it's an investment that you have to do. ASCAP or BMI you want to go to. At some point, you want to connect with a social media marketer or a digital marketer. A good, strong digital marketer will be able to help you strategize dropping content, helping you with social media posts, online presence, running ads, influencers, the timing of things. You know what I'm saying? Like a good digital, like I'm a digital marketer. You know what I'm saying? And what I do overall is that help you post because it's like well that's a part of what I do. Because it's like understanding because a social media or a digital marketer will know the platforms. We like you're gonna learn a lot of that through this channel. You know what I'm saying? And it's our job to understand the algorithms on different platforms. To even put your music where a lot of people are finding new artists about. Like most artists are being found, hip hop artists, well, just artists in general are being found on TikTok. So if you pushing your music on Facebook, and no, no. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're a hip hop artist pushing your music on Facebook, no, it's a no go. It's a no go. Um, because most people are not finding it there. They're finding it in other places. But a good and you don't have to even use a social media marketer every time or digital marketer every time you drop an album or drop a song. But you'll be surprised on the impact that one might have to help you get your music where it needs to be. A good one will help the online presence, but also run ads. You once again, you can run ads yourself. You can post yourself, but understand the knowledge of all social media of all the social media platforms is something and it's very time consuming. It's something if you want to do you can do it, but you once again you're not going to have the impact of a professional. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? um so I would say maybe not out the gate the first album, but maybe the second or the third, that just give it that extra nudge to get more attention and to help people get aware of who you are. Influencers I think are very impactful. You know what I'm saying? And a good social media or digital marketer should be able to connect you with some good influencers that will be able to put out that word of mouth on their platform for your music. Um, because once again, like digital marketers, they study the platforms. They understand the online game with everything. Also, you want to invest in a press kit and sites that do booking. You know what I'm saying? That will tell you about open gigs and stuff like that. Like that is super important because at some point you're gonna want to tour and you're gonna want to go to gigs and stuff like. And you want to have your own gig or whatever. Lastly, is you want to get with a brand specialist. Now, the difference between the two is that one is all about the online game for you all. Branding is on and is off. Branding, a good branding specialist will help you to connect with what's in your music so that you can pull out something that's greater. We're going to talk about pairing on one of these parts of the series, and that's understanding what can connect with your music because at the end of the day, you want to make money. A digital marketer is going to help you gain awareness for your project, but your branding specialist is going to help you make money. And get you to where you need to be. That's why I do both for my clients. Okay. Um, I feel like this is going to be a two-parter. Um, so I'm going to do these two, and then I'm going to let you guys go for class. This is really, really exciting though for me, um, because one of the things. So that's the budget. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things you really need to be investing in money in. And like I said, not all that at one time, but take it in small bites, right? Small bites. Let's think about this though. I said it before. I'll say it again. The why, the problem. Any good business solves a problem, right? We want to make money, right? Well, people will pay for solutions, right? They not gonna pay for problems. So you have to ask yourself, in my music, what type of solution do I solve? Right. And this is the business aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody makes music. That's great. But what is the problem your music solves that will connect because with the money aspect of it all? Because all songs are entertainment. All right, we get that. Your music is entertainment. All songs are. But you got to ask yourself, when it circles back, what does it do for people, right? Because you got to understand that people don't buy your music because they like it. They buy it because they feel it. So what type of feelings and connection do they get from your music? What thing that it solves within them? Because if they know your music helps them, you know what I'm saying? You don't nearly have to track them down and make them listen to your song if they know that your music solves an issue in their life or in the world that connects with you. I look at a lot of inventors. You know what I'm saying? I look at like how Henry Ford didn't like invent the car. You know what I'm saying? More so, he invented like a system. You know what I'm saying? And how to put together the car and make it, work, quicker and faster. McDonald's did that in the same way too. You know what I'm saying? Of like how they were at the forefront of fast foods. And they designed a way of putting together burgers or French fries and shakes and stuff as system in such a way that it got out the food. You know what I'm saying? Quicker. Um, think about what you're that's just inventors, and they're not musicians as well too. But as a musician, you know what I'm saying, as a song, look deep into yours, and then once you understand what the problem you solve, then you can create what they call a tagline. A lot of businesses have taglines. That's why I'm always like, yo, we are New Altitude Media. We help you build your brand, find your audience, and be effective. Now, why is that good to have a tagline according to your connected to your business? It tells you the problem that we solve. And when that happens, we understand the value of who you understand the value of who I am. Because if you get New Altitude Media, we're going to help you build your brand. We're going to help you find the audience for your music, and we're going to help you roll effectively. And that's what Flight School is trying to do, or not trying to, but is created to do, is to help you be effective at what you're trying to do with your music. So you have to think of it. I created any artist I work with, they tell you, you know what I'm saying? We go through this, because at the end of the day, it helps with the brand and it helps with the music, right? Um, because like I'm a digital marketer, but I am also a branding specialist. So my mindset is on, and nowadays people make money not from the music per se itself, but off the brand because it's the problem your music solves. And you are, whether you know it or not, your music solves a problem. I was working with this one artist, and I said, he's an R&B artist, you know what I'm saying? And we talked about it, and we were like, you know what I'm saying? I think your music helps people be truly who they are, because he was like, I am R&B, you know what I'm saying? I'm an older guy doing R&B, but I am who I am, and I'm not going to change. And here's my music. It may not fit in the boxes of people, but I'm out here and I'm probably going to do it. And I said, what if your music and your music tagline is unapologetically R&B, right? Because that's who you are, and you are trying to help people believe and stand on business of who they are. You know what I'm saying? And other people could connect with that. So what type. You know what I'm saying? Like your tagline, and your problem solving tells you what type of music you are. You know what I'm saying? Because there's all types of music out there. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it gives people a reason once again to understand why they should listen to you. All this in this is important for people to listen to you, but also for you to get paid. Why are you different? You got to think about it like your music is like hot dogs. Everybody's selling a hot dog on this block. You know what I'm saying? My question is, why should I buy your hot dogs when I could go home and make my own hot dogs? You know what I'm saying? But if you're saying, like you said, my hot dogs are the best for whatever reason, then okay, I'm listening. But if in these words, when you do these taglines, it is so that people can get a snapshot real quick about your value to them, right? And another artist I was working with, and his music was a style of love, but also conscious, so that there's a lot of things that you can that although we feel with our hearts, but we have to be logical because we have to protect our hearts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like his was wake up your heart, right? And so there's some things in our hearts that we have to wake up to, you know what I'm saying? And then become more even understanding of who we are, what others are around us, because we're sleeping on some things and we're allowing other people to sleep on us. So he kind of wanted to bring like a conscious type of love writing to the people, you know what I'm saying? And how is that solving an issue is because in relationship, well, you think about how many marriages are ending in divorce. You think about how in the dating scene, how there's this big thing on men versus women. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't get together, and then when we get together, we can't stay. Maybe it's because we need to touch our hearts, but also we need to think logically on selecting a partner or being better people ourselves. So now you open up the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Something a little bit different to like, okay, and we can then unpack that even more, and then with that we could connect now with other artists. We can start conversations in itself with different people, you know what I'm saying? And then we could have what they call brand deals. We could connect with different businesses, you know what I'm saying? Because we want, to speak about love, you know what I'm saying? But we also want to think about it from a conscious aspect of it too, you know what I'm saying? Even the lovers and the thinkers both buy this car, you know what I'm saying? It's the most sexiest car. It's the new Spider 6'9", you know. And so like it's stuff like that that you could connect with somebody, a different business because they understand your problem you're solving, and it's the same problem they're solving within their business, and you guys connect with it, right? You solve a problem that you both can put out in the world so that people can buy into the product, right? We trying to get you paid. We trying to get you paid. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I don't want you singing just to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? Because we can talk all day longs about how to do your streams and how to get your royalty and get you on soundtracks and movies and stuff like that. And you can be big. You know what I'm saying? Or even like how we can boost your shows and stuff like that. And you'll be great. You know what I'm saying? You'll be fantastic. You know what I'm saying? But you might get to a point where you have to always put out a song, or your lights don't come on. You rapping to pay the bills. You singing to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? You're guitaring just to pay the bills. And you don't want that. You want to allow your music to still be the love of your life. You don't want to be doing it by force. You want to put out an album when you're ready to put out an album. You don't want to do that because I got rent. I got rent due on Monday. So I got to put out an album on Saturday and hope that people buy it. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? You want to be a true artist, you know what I'm saying? And a good way of doing that is being able to like have a business and your brand connected one way so it can bring in the streaming income so you can do your music however you want to do it, right? All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you with that. We're going to have to make this a whole part two. I will pick up on taglines when we get back through. This is Name Presents Flight School with your boy, Nathan Driz Johnson. Bless somebody today, all right? Blessings.